From the moment the sky cracked open above Antarctica, nothing on Earth would ever make sense again as a plane sliced through the frozen winds, carrying the people who were about to uncover the truth buried beneath the last untouched continent. Dr. Elena Ward, staring out the frost-covered window, gripping her father's old photograph, while Miles Carter recorded her with a silent thrill, and Colonel Reyes barked orders about protocol and secrecy, while a quiet man named Ilya held a leather journal that looked far older than him. The second landed, the world seemed to hold its breath while the snow crawlers roared across the endless white until the team saw the impossible, a glowing fissure miles long that hadn't existed last week, and Elena felt something awaken inside her as if the ice itself whispered her name. And that night, when the fissure lit up with a pulse like a heartbeat, she watched a massive shape move deep within as Miles filmed, trembling with excitement and fear. And by morning, drones melted midair trying to scan it, while the only surviving frame showed a colossal ancient structure beneath the ice covered in symbols identical to those in Ilya's journal, which he revealed had belonged to Elena's father, who wrote that the ice was the last defense protecting the truth. And then the fissure opened wider as if inviting them, and despite Reyes shouting "No one enters," Elena stepped first into the descending cavern lined with glowing crystal veins until they emerged into a vast underground city, made of black metal and alien architecture, older than civilization itself, where murals revealed luminous beings guiding early humans before vanishing as Antarctica froze. And when a towering monolith at the heart of the city awakened, releasing a harmonic pulse that felt alive, the entire chamber, lit with holograms showing Earth's shifting past, Antarctica once green and alive, and a voice spoke directly into their minds, warning that knowledge without harmony brings destruction, and that humanity stood at a threshold. And just when Reyes tried to shut it down, an energy wave threw him back as the city began collapsing, forcing them to run through shattering tunnels, barely reaching the surface before the entrance sealed itself forever like the continent erased its own wound, leaving the team with only Ilya's journal and Miles' hidden backup footage, while officials confiscated everything and declared the mission uneventful, though Elena knew the truth was awake beneath the continent, because the ice occasionally throbbed with a faint pulse like a sleeping titan's breath. And as she stared at the horizon, she whispered that Antarctica wasn't hiding history, it was guarding it. And one day, when the world was ready, the continent would open again and reveal everything humanity had forgotten about where it came from and where it was going. But the days that followed were not quiet, because something had changed inside Elena the moment she heard that ancient voice, and she felt it again during the flight home, when her vision blurred, and she saw flashes of the monolith pulsing like a star trapped beneath the world, and Ilya watching her as if he knew exactly what she was experiencing, which he later confirmed in a whisper on the tarmac, saying the monolith had chosen her just as it once chose her father before he vanished inside the ice. And that night, Elena couldn't sleep in her government-monitored hotel, because every time she closed her eyes, she saw luminous figures standing at the edge of a warm green Antarctica, pointing towards something colossal rising from the ocean, until she woke with a jolt, as if someone had spoken her name. And when she checked her phone, she found an untraceable message with coordinates deep inside the restricted zone, where no satellite should be able to send signals, which meant something beneath the ice was deliberately contacting her. So she met Miles in secret, showing him the message, and he immediately agreed to return despite knowing it violated every order and risked their lives, while Ilya appeared from the shadows saying he had been waiting for this moment because the monolith never awakened without purpose, and humanity was entering a cycle of change identical to the one that wiped out the last civilization shown on the murals. So the three of them went dark, slipping past surveillance using an old supply route Ilya claimed her father once used. And after 2 days on a stolen snow crawler fighting brutal winds that felt alive with warning, they reached a region where the ice had cracked into impossible geometric patterns, like the surface was reshaping itself according to unseen forces. And in the center of those patterns, a single black spire pierced the ice like a needle, marking the exact coordinates they were sent, which Miles filmed breathlessly, while Elena approached it, feeling warmth radiate from the impossible structure, until her hand touched it, and the world around her dissolved into a blinding vision of cities made of light, beings taller than humans moving like flowing energy, Earth's atmosphere glowing with stability humans had never known, and then the same beings standing around the monolith, showing her Earth shaking under an incoming global shift, not from war or climate, but from something cosmic and inevitable. and as the vision collapsed she stumbled back gasping while the spire cracked open like a metallic flower, revealing a chamber beneath it, filled with swirling holographic crystals forming star charts around her, and one of them showing a countdown that matched strange global anomaly scientists had been quietly reporting, meaning the Ancient Ones had left warnings built into the planet itself, and Antarctica was the final alarm. But before Elena could speak, the ice beneath them quaked violently, opening a spiral tunnel that pulled them downward gently as if guided rather than falling, depositing them into a chamber even larger than the first city one that was still alive with golden light and humming energy, where a dormant ship floated above a crystalline pool, its surface reflecting memories of a world humanity never knew. And as Elena approached the ship, the voice returned softer, now saying she was chosen to become the bridge between the past and the future, and she must awaken the Ark before the coming shift or Earth would repeat its forgotten tragedies. And Miles recorded everything with trembling awe, while Ilya fell to his knees, whispering that he had waited his entire life to hear that voice again. But overhead the tunnel sealed itself, and the walls began shifting, as though the entire chamber was preparing for departure or awakening. And Elena stepped forward, knowing the world above would not believe them, yet knowing belief no longer mattered, because the truth was alive, buried, ancient, and now choosing to rise again through them, as Antarctica's deepest secret finally prepared to reveal the history humans were never meant to forget. Elena reached toward the floating ark, as the chamber vibrated with a low harmonic pulse that felt like it came from the bones of the earth itself, and the golden light spilled across her hands, forming patterns identical to the symbols in her father's journal. While Miles filmed in awestruck silence and Ilya whispered translations from memory, saying the Ark was not a ship of escape, but a ship of memory, designed to restore knowledge lost in every global cycle before a shift resets the planet. And as Elena touched the surface, the Ark awakened with a deep, resonant hum, and the crystalline pool beneath it rippled, showing visions of continents rearranging, oceans rising and falling, civilizations being born, then erased by cosmic rhythms humanity never understood until she saw something far worse. A pulse of energy from far beyond the solar system, creeping slowly toward Earth like an invisible wave, the same wave that once froze Antarctica in a single night, and she gasped, pulling back as the Ark quieted for a moment, giving her time to breathe before the voice returned stronger than ever, saying the cycle approaches, and only those who understand the memory may guide the world through the resonance. And suddenly the chamber's walls thinned, turning transparent to reveal an enormous hidden world beneath the ice, stretching for miles with towers, domes, and bridges half buried under crystalline frost, as if an entire ancient civilization still slept in technological hibernation, waiting for someone to activate it. And Miles whispered that this wasn't a city, it was an ark, a global archive built underground to survive cosmic resets, while Ilya trembled, saying the myths were all true, and the ones before humans had faced the same crisis, leaving behind tools and warnings, hoping someday another species would rise and understand. And before they could process any of it, the ground above them thundered as a new fissure tore open, sending ice collapsing into the deeper levels, revealing a pack of military drones descending, led by Colonel Reyes, who had tracked their stolen crawler and now pointed weapons at them, ordering them to step away from the Ark. But the Ark reacted before anyone else could move, sending a burst of golden light that froze the drones midair and gently pushed Reyes back, as if it recognized him as a threat. And he shouted that Elena had no idea what she was waking, but she ignored him, stepping fully onto the Ark's platform, as the structure's runes lit up faster and faster, while the holographic star map rearranged into a countdown, now ticking louder like a heartbeat of destiny. And Elena realized the shift was closer than anyone expected, and whatever came next depended entirely on whether she could unlock the rest of the Ark's memory before the world above entered a phase it wasn't prepared to survive. And as the light swallowed her, she heard her father's voice inside the resonance, whispering that he had reached the Ark first and failed to awaken it, but she was the one it had been waiting for all along. And the moment she accepted the truth, the entire chamber rose with a colossal surge of energy, signaling the beginning of Antarctica's final reveal to the world.